Reintroduction is when we have to reintroduce, just like you'd reintroduce an immigrant into a different culture. Like I've used the example when you have people that have been in so long, they don't even know what a cell phone is. It's like you refer to a message center or an iPod, and they just stare at you like a little lost child because they don't understand the technology. That is what I would call reintroduction. Recidivism is, of course, a term that unfortunately means that they will reactivate their criminal past and they will be going back in.
I went away the first time I was 12 years old. I went to reform school. And I had no respect for authority at the time. And when I got to the reform school, they accommodated me fully. You run into quite a few people there who think that they're on the side of the angels. And what they do, they reinforce the negative attitudes these kids got, such as myself. And then I did time in West Coxsackie Correctional Facility, they called it back then. And then all told, back then, before my latest stint, I did about 13 years. And my last imprisonment began in 1975, and it ended on May 13, 2008, when I was released from Collins Correctional Facility.
To show you that it's a strange place, and it's a purposeful place. A lot of people who go to jail and prison do need to go, and they do need to be sequestered. But what happens to people is that though they're doing the time does them. And in county jails, people usually spend less than a year. So they're really not that removed for a very long period of time from their family, their friends, their occupation, religion, sports, whatever. It's the ones that go to prison for very long periods of time that have a horrible time readjusting into society, and particularly our culture as we know it today.
And I realized the bad decisions I had made and the dumb decisions. And I accepted the fact that what I actually had been doing with my life was I found myself in a hole and I just kept digging. And a normal person would stop digging once they find themselves in a hole. And I came to grips with my inadequacies at that time, and I realized my criminal conduct really was based on the unavoidable fact that I was afraid to compete legitimately in society. And I felt I didn't belong to society, and I felt that I was different from society. And when I learned differently and realized that my thinking had been very much out of order, and I started seeing people the way they are, and understanding that it wasn't my function in life to blame other people for my own failures in life. I started seeing things differently, I started doing things differently, and I started feeling differently about myself and about other people. And that really is what put me on the course that ultimately led to my release on May 13, 2008.
Here's an example. If you're incarcerated in August, let's say, and you're going to jail in August, and you come out in January, unless you have friends or family to bring you clothing, if you were released in January, you're going out in a tank top and shorts the way you went in. How are you supposed to survive in the streets of Rochester when you're leaving jail in a tank top and shorts in January? So I bring in clothing. Very often they need that first support phone call right after they come out, they're issued a bus voucher. Some of them don't even make it on the bus. They just hitch a ride from jail and go back to the street. Very often they'll call me right away and say, you know, I just got out of jail, I just got out of prison. I've been out 10 minutes and I'm dying to use crack cocaine. Can you please talk to me until the bus comes? And it's a reality. It's something I deal with all the time. And a lot of my clients face a very practical issue. Their families don't want to see them. Their religious houses of worship don't want them around. It's very hard for them to make friends, especially with probation and parole telling you that you can't consort or cohort with other convicted felons. Where do you go? You wind up as isolated, if not more isolated, than when you were incarcerated.
It was like parachuting out into a foreign country, different culture, different language. But it was something I prepared myself for because I decided I was just going to get out and I was going to function, but I was going to absorb everything in this new environment, in this new social setting. And I was going to process it and I was going to use my intellect positively to process it. And then once I gathered everything in, then I would really decide how I was going to deal with this freedom that had been given to me after all of these years. And I'm content now. I'm in my my own apartment here. I got family in the Rochester area. I was able to go to California and spend time with my daughter and my grandkids for 2 weeks and attend my grandson's wedding. I was able to go down to Florida a couple weeks ago to my nephew's wedding. I will be going to California for Christmas and New Year's. And this was all on the basis of the smart decision making that I've engaged in. And and also it's provided me an opportunity where I can impart the wisdom and the knowledge and the experience that I have gained through the process of my life to help kids not go through the same changes that I went through. You know, I won't preach to them. I will just be a reporter, and I will report to them what the consequences are for them and their family if they persist in collision courses with disaster as I did. And once they realize that I've been through it, I've done it, I've thought what they thought, and I've come through it. And I like to use the term from detention to redemption. And part of my redemption is going to be in helping kids.
I have post-incarcerates that have been in so long that they don't even know how to use the internet for a search because there is no internet in prison. I remember 1992, 1993, when I just started out working in prisons, they didn't even know how to use an ATM card. They would come out, they'd be like, what is this business that you punch in a bunch of numbers and you put in a card and you get money and it comes out of the machine. They had been incarcerated so long, they never even had the experience of these opportunities.
Things where I can give you an example. Like I went to Sam's Club, and I went to the bathroom, and I went to wash my hands. I didn't see any handles on the faucets, and there was a janitor in there, and you know I got discombobulated, and I turned to him. I said, "Where are the handles on the faucet?" You know, they were motion, of course. And he looked at me like I was crazy, got up and ran out of there.
In the last at least decade of my clients that I have served, I can legitimately tell you 72% of my clients that have been incarcerated and become post-incarcerates have recidivated. That's a very high percentage, and it's very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. My argument is this, that I agree there are some populations that not everybody could live next to peacefully and happily and coexist, My argument is there are plenty of people that live next door to other people that are never convicted of a crime that are also very dangerous. The one benefit in knowing that somebody's a possible recidivist, and certainly post-incarcerated, is at least you know where they're coming from. And this way you have some kind of a heads up.